What's going on, everybody? We're here back, about to do a self-cut video step by step. This is the before, looking crazy. Over wolfing, you can see a line in the back. It's crazy, but let's start it. We're about to do our first ball line with our Slimline Pros LIs. About to do a high taper. I grew my hair 2 weeks just to do this video. Man, over wolfing. Here we go with our razor ball Brown Series 3, just to make it razor ball. Now we're going with our number 5 close, but later on in the video, almost at the end, figured out that my hair was a little bit too long. Had even one wave. I'm like, no, I can't do it. So I went with I think it was a 4 open or 4 close, and I went with the grain just to make it a little bit more neater. Now we're going back to our taper. Going with the no guard open, and we're gonna go halfway to knock out that bottom line and close it up. Just make sure you use your corners. As you guys can see, I'm using a few. Doing this self haircut are not easy to do, so I use a lot of my corners when I do my self cuts. Just remember, no guard open, halfway to soften it up, and then close. Now going with our number 1 open, going about maybe so half an inch. Same thing with that no guard. So we're gonna do the whole same step all the way up. However, I'm trying to do a different trick, different ways of doing it. Just stay tuned, just pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm going with my half guard halfway open on that bottom line with that no guard where we left it at. I'm gonna blend it out, soften it out with that number 1 close, and then close it up just to knock it out. So I used a different technique, a different step when I did my hair. It's not easy when you're doing it on your own. So now we're going with a 2 guard open. Same thing, just make sure you flick out. Obviously I got too much hair going on, so I got to flick out, especially when I'm doing it on myself. I don't have nobody to help me out. Especially like I could use like clipper comb or thinning shears to debulk it, but since I was doing it on my own, it's not easy. Now I'm going with our 1.5 guard open and close it up. Of course, it might not take it away completely. That bottom line where the number 2 and the number 1 open meets. Then you go back to your number 1 open and detail it. It's just a matter of taking your time, take it slow. Do not rush the haircut at all. If not, then you're gonna mess it up. And you can see right there, just going back to it and just detailing it, so that way I don't get too lost and bring the taper higher. Now here's the step that I was saying that I did a little bit more different than the usual. I jumped into my number 5 open and I closed it up just to debulk it, just to see how far I can go and not mess it up. See, always combing it down. Since I got too much hair, you want to cut the hair how it's supposed to be, and the direction of the hair flowing, because if you got it in a different direction, you might create a patch or something happen. And I did a mistake later on in the video, and I will show it to you guys. And like I said, if I did a mistake, I will show it to you guys too. I'm not perfect, I try my best. Here we go with our number 4 open. Just going back to it, just going a little bit lower than the 5. It's the same step, going with a 3. Open and then close it up. On this side I use thinning shears, and the other side, since I'm like, you know what, I could do a different technique on the other side, and you guys will see it later on. Oh, if you guys are wondering what type of clipper I'm using the Gamma alphas with a regular short tooth. I could use the long tooth, but I'm just getting used to it, so let's just leave it how it is. And then if you're wondering where I got that custom lid, I got it from B. Clark Customs. You can search him up at IG. His wife did it for me, so he got a different page for that, but he got her page as well and his page on Instagram, so you can search her up as well. So now we're going with our thinning shears just to debulk it just a little bit more. And like I said, it's harder to do your own hair, and especially with no help, so that's why I use my thinning shears instead of regular shears. Now we go to the back, and as you guys can see, I got a big old line in the back and another one on top, but we're gonna fix it out. So we're gonna go with our same step, slim line, close our lines, creating our first ball line. And you guys can see the back is just a trouble because my hair grows in different patterns going in on both sides, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to cut. But I've been cutting my hair for 7 years, so it doesn't bother me if I mess it up or not. It's my own hair. Going with a bottom series 3 just to create that razor ball. And there you go, no guard open. This time, since I got so much room to work on, I'm going about 1 inch all the way. Then halfway. And then we close it up. Make sure you flick out, and then if you're starting to cut your own hair, just make sure you use your corners just to be more safe, so that way you don't break the taper higher, that fading a little bit higher, or create even a harsh line. So just be careful. Doing the same step with a number 1 open, and then close it up. Going about 1 inch, same steps. I'm trying to be as consistent as I can. It's not easy to have a mirror in the back, using the front one, looking at it, and then the clipper in your hand in the middle of the way. It's just crazy. But like I said, I've been doing my own hair for a couple years already, so I'm kind of used to it. It doesn't bother me. But when I started, I hated the fact that when I was doing the back or even the side, when I wanted to do it, put the clipper in one direction, it wanted to go to the different direction. I'm like, oh man. But you know, practice just goes along. Now going with a half guard, halfway open, just to soften out that bottom line, where the 1 and the no guard open meets. Soften it out and then close it up. If it doesn't go away, go with a no guard open and just flick out. Open, and then we close it up, doing the same thing, about 1 inch. Just making sure you flick out, because you don't want to create a super harsh line. Remember, you're doing it on your own, so you don't have nobody on your side to help you out, especially if you don't have a barber and you just got a non-experienced person. You know, it could be risky, but we learn as we go along. The more practice, the better you will get. Now going with that 1.5 guard open and then close it. That's just to soften up the number 2 and the number 1 open. Then you go back to the number 1 and it should be good to go. Always remember just to create your own unique techniques when fading. Not everybody, of course, cut the same way, but just do whatever works best for you. There's people that blends up and down with like no guards, I don't mean no guards, but no guidelines. Some people work their way bottom to top, or going up and down, up and down. There's no wrong or right answer when fading. Do whatever works for you. Now going with a number 5, like I said, just to debulk it, just to know how high I can go. After that, we just drop it all the way. So 4, 3, and then the 2, trying to detail it back down. The question is going to be for you guys is, how am I going to debulk that top part without no help? You guys will see. That's why I said it's a different technique. I'm not going with a 4 open and close it up, of course, flicking out, and do not go above that top line. There you go, number 3, open and close, and the rest is going to be detail work, and then we're going to figure out how to debulk the back. That's the good question right there. And there you go, back to detailing. Just remember, do not over detail it, so that way you don't bring the fade higher and get so picky, and then it comes out the wrong way that you don't expect it to be. But as you guys can see, that fading is coming blurry though. To be a self cut, it ain't bad. If you guys need any answer for any question that you guys have, just comment down below. I got you guys. Or if you want me to drop any other videos, any clipper reviews, I got a few clippers that I can do for you guys. So if you guys need a go-to clipper, go-to trimmer, just let me know. Here's the trick that I was saying. I went back to it with a number 3 open, and I closed it up, and I went with a number 2 open as well, and closed it up with the grain just to soften it out, debulk a little bit more. And then I went back to my, I think it was a 4 open, and then flicked out and then detailed it as much as I can, so that way I don't bring my fade higher, the taper higher. So you guys will see step by step. There you go, number 2. Obviously you want to be careful, because jumping from a 5 with the grain all the way around the head and then jumping to a number 2, you gotta be careful. You just want to debulk it what that top line is. And there you go. Now just going back to it and just detail it. If you're new, please subscribe, smash that like button, and ring that bell notification please if this video has been grateful. All the videos I have done, of course I'm still learning. I'm about to buy a camera very soon, just to get a little bit more angles, better camera quality. I'm about to buy another mic just in case. I already got 2, but I just want the best for you guys as well. It's not just for me, I'm just doing it for you guys to help you guys out with the haircuts, and we learn both together at the same time. It's the same step all over again, so I don't pretty much have to say anything after this. But I did mess up my hair though. You guys will see it on this area in the back. I was just curious, messing around with it. I just wanted the around the ear and back a little bit more closer. I just don't like the hair, longer hair behind my ears, and then out of nowhere you see that long hair touching the top of the ears, just start tickling. I just don't like that, so I just went down and tried to debulk a little bit. But like I said, jumping from a number 5 open with the grain, and then jumping it with the number 2 with the grain, that's what I did, and I messed it up. So hopefully as you go along on this side of the video, You guys will see the mistake behind the ear. Then I got a little patch that I did, but it's not noticeable. So I was safe on that area. I don't know if you guys can see it, but right there, there's a line in the back. That's the first thing, and then on top of it, there's a little patch right there too, and that's why I'm like, but you know, since it's my own hair, I did it myself, I cannot complain. You know what I mean? Besides being 7 years cutting myself up, it's a little bit embarrassing, but like I said, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. It's better to try your best, and like I said, not even try. You're just willing of doing it. It's the most important thing. Don't say yeah, try. Just go for your effort. You do it, or you're not, or you won't do it. Believe in yourself that you just want to do it. Believe it or not, when I started cutting hair, I started with my own self. Then my brother came in. It was the video before, and I got a friend of mine and he wants to be here on the videos as well. Later on, I'm gonna put him on, and those are the first 3 haircuts I started with. It was me, my brother. That was the comb over. I did the video before. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. And then my friend that he came in to my house when I started. I'm like, yo, sit down. You're woofing, because he was talking about going to the barber shop, and I'm like, yo, sit down. But later on, I will speak about it. I'm gonna make myself like a little interview of myself, a little background check, so that way you guys know a little bit about me when it comes to the barbershop when I started. So we're going with our fabulous trimmer, lining ourselves up, starting in the middle, working your way to the one side, and then you work your way to your other side. Of course, you're gonna wonder how I did my vertical bars. I just did it little by little. I don't want to rush it and push it back, especially on my left side on this area. I'm a little bit light on the vertical bars, so that's why at the end of it I use enhancement, just to make sure that both sides look good and I don't have to push it back. Here's the fun part. Everybody knows when it comes to lining everybody up in the back, man, it's hard, but practice do everything. But I don't know if you guys can notice it. Right there, you see the patch, and I did like a little fading on that behind the ear, and I messed it up right there. But like I said, it didn't bother me. Everybody make mistakes. Now, matter of trimming the back, use your full blade, and as soon as you hit the very top of it, use your corner of the blade just to make it around that ear. Wondering what I'm using my fabulous Silver's FX with the 245 power clip. I also got the mat, and I got a couple clippers and trimming with the power clip. It's really good. You guys should get it and invest on it if you want to avoid having so many wires hanging around. And again, going to the middle, when you're lining yourself up in the front, going to your one side, and then middle to your one side. But as you can see, to be a self-cut video, and to do it myself on my own, it came out pretty good. I really can't complain besides that mistake that I did. Enhance it with Kiss Express, dilute it with alcohol, one-on-one. When I mean one-on-one, let's say if I use 3 ounces of water, or let's say alcohol, whichever two, you can use both, but I prefer alcohol because that way you can dry it out faster. And then you use another 3 ounces of enhancement, whichever you use. Now I recommend the 245 no drip. It can last you for on your lineup at least for 5 days. That's where at least it grows back. Well, this is the before. Man, I was wolfing, but I make miracles. I came back to life now. Man, so if you guys like it, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, ring that bell notification. Thank you for watching. Till next time.